The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus heard that John the Baptist had been arrested, he withdrew to Galilee. He left Nazareth and went to live in Capernaum by the sea in the region of Zebulun and Naphtali, that what had been said through Isaiah the prophet might be fulfilled. Land of Zebulun, land of Naphtali, the way to the sea beyond the Jordan, heathen Galilee. The people who sit in darkness have seen a great light. On those dwelling in a land overshadowed by death, light has arisen. From that time on, Jesus began to preach and say, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." As he was walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and his brother Andrew, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. He said to them, "Come after me, and I will make you fishers of men and women." At once they left their nets and followed him. He walked along from there and saw two other brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets. He called them, and they immediately left their boat and their father and followed him. He went around all of Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom, and curing every disease and illness among the people. The gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
We would expect Jesus to emerge from the shadow of John the Baptist in a very strong and public way, to pick up John's mantle and lead the charge for God's reign. Instead, when John is arrested, Jesus withdraws. He slips away to the margins, the territory of Zebulun and Naphtali, off the radar of popular consciousness, because Zebulun and Naphtali are more than places in Galilee with names that are hard to pronounce. Both of those names signal to New Testament hearers what names such as Vietnam, Abu Ghraib, and Guantanamo Bay signal to our ears. The hellishness of war and the darkness engulfing those who live in its aftermath. In short, Jesus' inclinations seem to run completely counter to those of Christians and churches of today. Let's face it, we really do prefer our safe neighborhoods and keeping the troubles far away from us. And yet Jesus goes directly into the land overshadowed by death, the place where despair will overwhelm easy optimism. Pastors also stumble into that kind of land from time to time. My first pastorate was in a community which I loved very much, the people, the staff, style of worship. Yet every day there was a crisis. And I mean that literally, every day. A building crisis, a staff issue crisis, a school crisis, a neighborhood crisis, every single day. One was expected to somehow summon the courage to host the frightened, wounded lives and be hospitable to pain that had been neglected. I only lasted 3.5 years. And as I left that community, I was well aware that there were many who had lived that way the entirety of their lives. Matthew tells us that Jesus' gospel of God's kingdom begins when he survives his time in the wilderness and travels to this land of darkness and gloom. And this has to be good news to pastors and communities who find themselves in the dark these days. Admitting that we are in the dark, rather than deceiving ourselves to think otherwise, is a truth-telling exercise that enables us to glimpse the nearness of God's kingdom. We have the disadvantage of being Americans. And as Americans, we're vulnerable to the lie that we possess the ability to fix everything, to develop the right program, turn things around. Just need the right strategy. And we can fix this whole business of religion. We cover up our fear and foreboding of the future with strategies from the latest seminar or bestseller. We find it hard to admit the truth, to say that we do in fact live in a land of gloom. And yet, it is truth-telling that turns parishes away from the preoccupation with saving themselves and towards Jesus and the gospel. Because it is in the darkest places that the gospel comes first to the last and the least. After all, Jesus does not begin his ministry with a church that is fully confident in its capabilities, its 5-year plan in place, and clearly stated goals and objectives. No, Jesus begins with people who know they're in trouble. And all of that makes me wonder, might the clergy shortage and the dwindling number of worshipers be Jesus' doing after all? Is Jesus seeking to call his church out of darkness so to forgive and enlighten and heal his people again?